Some movies have their moments. I would put The Wish Swap on that list, but it also had some scenes that I could have done without entirely. Now, I've often said I think a good Hallmark movie starts with something unexpected that winds up changing someone's life for the better. And I can't deny that's exactly what happened here. So, what did I think of the journey this time? Well, we've got some things to talk about, so let's dive right in and get started. Hi, I'm Stephanie, and welcome to the Magical Movie Club. The Wish Swap started off strong, and with a touch of magic.
It's a chance meeting with the right person at the right time for magic to truly happen.
That's a bonus for me. It's about two characters, Casey and Henry, who unexpectedly get what the other wished for on their birthday. You see, they met at the same restaurant on the night of their shared birthdays.
And since we're birthday twins, do you want to share?
When this enormous cake arrived, which neither party ordered, by the way, Casey, played by Emily Tennant, offers to share it with Henry, Jake Foy's character. And together they make their wishes, blow out the candles, and this is where the magic happened. There is a narrator who opens and closes the movie, but they don't really explain why or how the magic happened. And for a brief moment in the movie, Casey is determined to figure that out. But then her best friend talks her out of pursuing this any further, and that's about the end of it.
But I don't think you're going to find the answers that you're looking for by interrogating some poor baker.
Anyway, back to the restaurant. That same evening, while slices of cake are being passed around, Henry gets a call from a TV show called Dance Your Heart Out, which happens to be what she had wished for.
Wait, did you wish for that? And he got it?
And apparently, at exactly the same time, Casey missed a call from an attorney's office requesting she come into his office in the morning. You see, it turns out her aunt, someone she never knew existed, had died and literally left her the farm.
You're gonna have to take possession of the property immediately.
Animals?
And yes, that happens to be what Henry wished for. So after a little bit of arm twisting on her part, Casey convinces Henry to go on the TV show with her as his partner, and in return, she offers him a job to run her new farm.
No.
It's just one song, a minute tops.
I do not dance.
Now, I have to pause for a moment because I knew right away that I had seen this house before. So I looked it up, and yes, this house is identical to the one on the Kent farm in Smallville. Not the newer Superman and Lois show, but the OG Smallville with Tom Welling and Erica Durance. Can you tell I'm a fan? Anyway, over the course of the movie, as I'm sure you can imagine, Henry goes from having two left feet in the beginning.
It's a simple waltz, Henry.
Let's pretend I don't know what that means.
To owning the dance floor, or the stage, within a few weeks. And of course, Casey gradually learns a little bit of her way around a farm.
Wait, how do I get the eggs from under the chickens?
But wait, there's actually more. You see, the journey they travel to get there is what the heart of this movie is about. Like learning to trust one another.
Trust yourself and trust me.
Which is certainly important if they're going to dance together on this TV show. They actually performed 3 dances. There's the waltz, some swing dancing, and even a tango for the grand finale. But their trust is going to be challenged later, and, well, I have some opinions about that. So, back on the farm, Casey learns some basic farm chores like collecting eggs and feeding goats.
Okay, hold on.
And then something weird happens about halfway through that causes some friction. You see, part of participating on the TV show is being interviewed by the host.
At which I am an utter failure.
See what I have to deal with?
And apparently, because of this so-called shtick, they wind up being the opening act for, get this, a popular comedian.
As if we would open for him, which I told him we'd never do, but...
To me, that part of the storyline was like trying to fit a square block into a round hole. It just didn't fit. Well, if you're wondering why would he even agree to that, well, here's the deal. Casey apparently has a birthday list that contains 3 things she wanted to come true. Dancing on television was the first one. Yeah, doing stand-up comedy was the second. And on the night of her birthday, when she blew out the candles, she actually wished for her birthday list to come true. So she ends up sweetening the deal to entice him to go along with the whole comedy routine.
And I guarantee you can live on this farm for free for 2 years.
But, and this is a significant issue for me, she refuses to tell him what the third thing is on her list.
Because at some point, the third thing on your list is gonna come up, and I'm not gonna wanna do it, and you're gonna get mad and kick me out.
Not exactly the way to engender trust, in my opinion. As I've already alluded to, the actual comedy routine was painful to watch.
And that's how we ended up here. Henry, anything you'd like to add?
And that's not only because it was at least partly written to be that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear these details later.
I'm taking that story to my grave.
I suppose the only good thing that came out of it was that it helped with their character development and even some of their chemistry building together.
You say that with the delusional confidence of a man who has already dropped me multiple times.
And this is where I would love to have a conversation with Betsy Morris, the writer, to find out why she thought a stand-up comedy scene was right for this movie. I say that because she also wrote, are you ready for this? Guiding Emily and All I Need for Christmas. 2 wonderful movies. Guiding Emily is outstanding, by the way. So I'm trying to figure out, am I missing the mark on this one? Or did she? Anyway, let's continue. How about the big conflict near the end? Well, she didn't try to sell the farm like maybe you'd expect, and he didn't try to leave the farm or quit the competition or anything like that. But as I mentioned earlier, their trust for one another was tested. You see, while she was sleeping, curiosity about the third item on her list got the best of him. They fight about it, and then they get over it. But, and this might be a controversial opinion, I'll certainly respect yours if you disagree with me here, which is, while I agree he never should have snooped, she was also entirely wrong for continually telling him that her list was none of his business.
And then refusing to tell him the last one? I would probably snoop too.
Because for this entire movie, everything on her list has been his business, whether he wanted it to be or not. And one could even argue, has invaded his privacy without once asking how he felt about it.
The only thing through is us. Goodbye, Henry.
This relationship so far has been all about Casey and what she wants, and her manipulating him to get what she wants to fulfill her birthday wishes. Was that a little harsh? Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. After all, I did say that some of the best Hallmark movies are about something happening that's unexpected and unwanted, but results in something beautiful by the end. And admittedly, that's pretty much what happened to both of them. In the beginning, both Henry and Casey were comfortable with their lives.
I'm so glad. I hope you work there forever and never need my services again.
But not especially happy.
And Charlotte, please remind everyone of my #1 close-up rule.
When their wishes were swapped, they each had to step outside their comfort zone, and that changed their lives for the better, including finding love.
Because this farm and this farmer love you right back.
And not just deciding to go out on a date. These two actually fell in love. And if you don't know what that reference is about, check out my review of last week's movie, An Unexpected Valentine. I can't deny this movie had a fun ending. The tango was entertaining. I don't know how to dance, so I don't know if they were any good at all, but it was fun to watch. I also loved the way the director suddenly jumped ahead and we were back at the farm again. And for a moment, we were even left wondering who won. That was a great touch.
At the right time for magic to truly happen.
I'm actually starting to take notice of this director too. David Strasser also directed All I Need for Christmas, and going back a few years, A Glenbrook Christmas, starring one of my favorites, Autumn Reeser. So even though there were some awkward moments and some frustrating moments in this movie, if I were looking at the IMDb scale, I'd give this one a 6.5, because by the end, I loved the character development and the journey, and even the chemistry was decent. Not off the charts, but decent. So what did you think? Would you watch it again? Let me know in the comments below. Well, I think that wraps up my review of The Wish Swap. Next up, I'll be discussing Hallmark's Return to Office, starring Janelle Parrish, whose most recent movies were Sugar Plummed and Haunted Wedding, and Scott Michael Foster, who's been away from Hallmark for a few years. I'll try to check out some of his other movies, and we'll chat about that next time. Until then, and as always, thank you so much for being a part of the Magical Movie Club. If you like this too and want to see more, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're interested, I have links to the preview video as well as the movie page for more details about the Wish Swap in the details below. I'll be back next week to chat more about our favorite magical movies.
Left foot.
That is my left foot.
Other left.